when we say our security agents should be going for training, it's not an exaggeration. I mean, these are security agents. Sometimes we just keep wondering if they're having the level of training they are supposed to have, considering the amount of money that's being budgeted into fighting of, insecurity. We don't know if this money is being used judiciously to benefit the Nigerian people, because sometimes we have all this kind of news happening, and we keep wondering, does it mean we don't have qualified personnel? So in case you don't know, recently the military was trying to crack down on these terror guys where they were gathering, but they ended up bombing a community that bite so many lives, burned down houses, and so many other things that were destroyed. Another one has happened again. The question remains, does it mean we don't have competent hands? Does it mean that we don't have does it mean they don't have the knowledge, the required knowledge in fighting these people? Why is it that we always have this collateral damage each time we go after these people? So till now, we've not really come up with methodologies that really work and work effectively. Every time we wrongly target the wrong people, and we come up with excuses. We don't even know if these families whose people have been killed, if they are being compensated. The kind of Nigeria we are living in. Now another one has happened. So guys, I'm just going to let you watch this video for you to know that the fight against insecurity, sometimes it's not even just the battle of carrying gun and armored vehicles and then and all that. It needs some level of IQ. I mean, somebody's sense should be working very, very well. I want you to take a look at what is happening again. The military is at it again. Trying to target these bad guys. They ended up mistakenly cracking down on another community. This happened recently in Sokoto. Now it is happening again. Just take a look for yourself.
Today, just barely 2 weeks after 10 persons were killed in military airstrike in Sokoto. Remember that secondary explosion. 16 persons have also been killed in Tugunkara community in Zamfara state after an airstrike by the Nigerian Air Force mistakenly targeted members of the Zamfara Community Protection Guard, local vigilantes and residents. Eyewitnesses report that the airstrike struck shortly after bandits operated in the area and fled, inadvertently hitting those who were mobilizing to protect their home. The lawmaker representing Maradun's constituency 2 in Zamfara State's House of Assembly, Maharazu Faro, confirmed the incident and described it as an accident. The military authorities have also responded to that effect. The Nigerian Air Force says there is no credible evidence to support claims that 16 civilians were killed during that airstrike against insurgents. NAF, in a statement earlier today, announced the success of the operation in Fasanuyama, coordinated ground assault targeting stronghold of notorious bandit leader Kachala Bello Turji at Fakai Hills. The spokesperson of the force, Air Vice Marshal Lushala Akimboyoa, emphasized the operation's achievement in neutralizing scores of bandits and rescuing several kidnapped victims, calling it a significant step toward restoring peace and security in Zamfara State. So let's talk about this. There's been this back and forth as to what really happened in Zamfara State. Were they mistakenly killed? How many people were killed? Well, as you can hear from the Air Force, they said there was no credible evidence to support claims that 16 civilians were killed, because they said they carried out their operations to the best of their ability. This is not the first time we're seeing things like this. It happened not too long ago in Sokoto, where the military now came out to say it was secondary explosion. So what exactly is going on? So I'm going to be running you through some of the highlights, as my producer will have it soon, some of the mistaken or accidental bombings, as you will, that has occurred, say, in the last few years in Nigeria. Some have been denied by the military authorities, some have not been denied, but a total of almost 300 to 400 persons have died by some of these incidents. We've been joined, so that's what you're seeing on your screen. I can't run through all of them, but if you can see some of the things that were highlighted, the dates, the communities, the local government areas, the state, call it the timeline of some accidental bombings that had occurred in Nigeria. Some have gotten over 100 in some incidents, some about 7, some about 4, some 1 person. some undisclosed number of casualties considered collateral damage, and these are Nigerian citizens. We know the job of the military is quite difficult, but we need to ask some of the questions concerning all of this. But enough has spoken. But let's bring in the Commissioner for Information in Zamfara State, Mr. Mahmood Dantawasa. He joins us via Zoom from Gzo. Mr. Commissioner, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now, I know I had to drag you out of ESCO or around ESCO period, but so let's get straight to it. You know, when we hear some of this incident that mistaken accidental bombings affect civilians, most of the time we have this pushback from the military to say this is not what played out, and then we'll get clearer picture later. I don't know whether it's a style, the NAF will be able to respond to that. But you are at the government in Zamfara State. What exactly is the situation of things?
The truth is the situation is very bad. It's a very unfortunate situation where civilians were bombed by the Nigerian Air Force. The government considered this as a mistake because the new operation Fansanyama has been doing a very good job in neutralizing bandits across the state. So go to Katsina, Kebbi, Zamfara State. Successes have been recorded, but you know, along the line mistakes do happen everywhere, and there are collateral damage. This incident occurred on Saturday evening shortly after armed bandits raided the area and fled. Local vigilance and residents defending the communities were caught in the strike, unfortunately. The strike, I think it's not the first of its kind, if like you actually stated. There are occurrences of it. I believe it's a mistake by the Nigerian Air Force. When these communities were raided, the people, I think the villages in that region between Zulmi and Maradu local government, Tungakara and Boko and other villages have the civilian GTF there and the community protection guards employed by the Zamfara state government have been working together to make sure to ensure security in the area. So when there were reports of armed bandit regrouping in an area going on to attack a particular village around that area, so that the civilian GTFs and the CPGs and all the communities involved gathered and chased the bandit away. They were in like a pursuit of the bandit, and after successfully chasing the bandit away from the area as they were going back into their respective places, I think the Operation Fansanyama were already informed of the bandit regrouping in that particular area, and they have called the air component of the Operation Fansanyama, which a fighter jet was on its way to rescue those villages. So as the bandit fled the area, an unfortunate incident occurred where those communities were those people that were gathered that chased the bandit away were struck by the Nigerian Air Force. It's a very sad situation. We know the Zamfara state government is very concerned and very worried. His Excellency is very worried about the loss of lives. About 16 people were killed in an unfortunate incident, which we consider as a collateral damage. You know, accidents like this do happen, and in almost all the places where there are insecurities. I believe a lot of this has happened. We have seen it in Maiduguri, which is Borno State, Sokoto here recently, and then now in Zamfara. So it is an unfortunate situation. 16 people are dead, and many others are injured.
So, I want us to break it down. The last time we had the understanding of the military, the army this time, not the Air Force, they said it was secondary explosion. What they simply meant by that was they were targeting Lakrawa terrorists. They bombed them directly. They were burnt beyond recognition. And some of the target that was hit was a cache of ammunition. And so when they hit those ammunition, it exploded, and it was as a result of the secondary explosion that people were killed, the civilians, about 10 of them. In this case, was it a direct hit on the civilians? Has the government contacted the families of these civilians? Because I'm going to somewhere with that question.
Yes, exactly. This case is a different one. Like I stated, there were banditry grouping in a particular area. You know how they do a form of attack where they have to regroup themselves and carry a large attack on communities that they are targeting, mostly cows and kidnappings and what have you. So as the people in that particular communities, the resident of that particular, those communities involved, we have the civilian JTF and we have the CPG, which are the community protection guards, newly recruited by the government to help in the fight against banditry in the state and insecurities and kidnappings. So after they have successfully chased the bandit away, as they were coming back, they were carrying their local guns and their ammunitions. So the air component of Operation Fansanyamba was on its way to rescue those communities before the people were able gathered into to take that particular action. An unfortunate incident, like I said, occurred where the Air Force mistaken those people carrying those ammunition as the bandit because they were called upon. So the state government has been doing its best in contacting the families. I think those that are in the hospital is the government that is treating them. His Excellency has sent down a team to those communities to investigate the matter and provide immediate assistance support. The Zamfara Emergency Management Agency is also on ground in those communities that the incident has taken place to give quick treatment to those that are injured and to also console those that have lost their lives to their family members. So there are efforts from the state government.
So has the government also been as the government interfaced with the Nigerian Air Force Authority, Nigerian Air Force? Because they are saying that there's no credible evidence to support claims that 16 persons were killed, which is why I deliberately asked you to give us what the government knows about what happened. Because the Air Force is saying it's a different version of event.
Like I stated, mistakes do happen everywhere. First, Air Force were thinking it was a stroke on the bandit, but when the news started circulating that those are the civilian JTFs and the CPGs that were going on an operation to fight the bandit, I think the Air Force usually makes a U-turn and say this is an accident that occurred, is an unfortunate situation, but we will do our findings. We have been in touch with them and they have sent down their team and they said they will do their findings and they will get back to us on what they have found. But I can assure you that we have been recording success in the fight against banditry and insecurity in the state. And the Air Force has been trying very well for the state and the good people of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara state. We must give credit to them. Mistakes do happen, we know that. Over the last week, a lot of bandits were neutralized by the same Operation Fansanyamba, as the bandits were out to stroke on particular communities or certain communities. Once this Operation Fansanyamba, the Air Force is called upon, they give them 30-40 minutes maximum. And the aircraft, a fighter jet is there to bomb the bandit. So the level of insecurity in the state has reduced drastically. Like, the whole Nigerians are aware that our stand is very clear. We will not negotiate with bandits, we will not negotiate with criminals. And the state government has been encouraging those communities to defend themselves. So I believe when they finish their findings, they revert back to us. And I stated to you that earlier the squad has been sent down to those communities.
Okay, yeah, because of course they said they will investigate. I just wanted us to corroborate the stories, the different versions of events as to what played out in that village, because we salute our military. 15th of January is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, so that's why we're wearing some of these things to, in solidarity with the military. But we must also ask questions when there are questions to be asked, if there are mistakes, if there are avoidable mistakes as well. So every life is important. The whole idea of the airstrike is to safeguard the lives and property of people. So if they die in the process, we will ask questions. But let's talk about the issue of Bello Turji. How far has that gone? I know that the military has made some statement as far as the issue of Bello Turji, which is one of perhaps is the most wanted bandits in Nigeria right now. What can you say concerning his? I'm almost asking the whereabouts. I'm not saying you're a bandit, but I'm just asking his questions about his whereabouts. What does the government know?
Well, he is one of the most wanted criminals by the Nigerian security and armed forces. His location is still unknown, but I assure you, the way things are going now, the Operation Fansanyama will soon reach to Bello Turji and his fellow bandits like Dogo Gede and others. The state government is working 247 on ensuring the safety, lives, and properties of the citizens of the state. And the military, our armed forces, we must give credit to them. Bello Turji is on the run. And I don't even think or believe he's in Zamfara state at the moment. I think he is somewhere around Sokoto, between Sokoto and Niger, because the Operation Fansanyama has been striking this bandit day and night. We have the army that are on the ground troops that are in the bushes, and the air force, the air component of the Operation Fansanyama is always all over the air between the Katsina, Zamfara, Kebbi, and Sokoto. So his location is still unknown, but I'm telling you, very soon Operation Fansanyama will neutralize Bello Turji and other bandits that are known like Dogo, Gide, and others. Most of them have been killed under this administration because the government has been very serious on its fight against onslaught against banditry, kidnappings, and insecurities in general in the state. Like I also stated, I don't think Bello Turji is in Zamfara state.
Okay. So I'm also wondering to the effect that beyond the issue of the efforts at getting Bello Turji, what is the long-term plan? Because we're losing a lot of money when it comes to issue of mining, illegal mining, for instance. Nigeria is losing a lot, and Zamfara is blessed with some of these natural or minerals resources. What is the action plan of government to make sure that in the long term, say let's just give it like 10 years, 5 to 10 years, we begin to get these bandits out in the first place and really make commercial value of what these things are? Because there is no way the level of success we've seen recorded by the activities of bandits and their accomplices, this is not almost institutional one way or the other. So what is the government doing to revert that so that we can get these monies into government coffers and grow the economy of Zamfara state and by extent Nigeria?
That's a very good question there. You see, first, you cannot achieve anything without security. Zamfara has been on the ban list for quite some time. I think the ban was lifted just about 2 weeks ago by the federal government. Natural resources, I think mineral resources are in the mining is in the exclusively the solemn affair of the federal government, not the state government. It was because of this insecurity that the previous administrations not tackle that the federal government put this ban and a no-fly zone, which was also lifted during this our administration. So our government is committed to ensuring the safety of our citizens first. Secondly, like you rightly stated, Zamfara is blessed with natural resources, which these natural resources are a blessing and a curse at the same time. But the insecurity in the states, people outside the state are looking at this as a result of illegal mining activities or the natural resources. Yes, some of these bandits are into mining, like the famous Halilu Sububu that was killed about 2-3 months ago, that was into mining. But it is not about natural resources. It's cattle stealing. It started there, from cattle stealing to kidnappings for ransom, and then some of them are into mining, like the Halilu Sububu that was killed. And the state government is working around the clock to ensure there are policies in place for anyone that is coming into the state to mine natural resources. One, we want to ensure there is security first, which, yes, there is security from where we came from. If you look at back about 2-3 years ago, before we came on board, the situation was very bad. Governor Dauda Lawal has tried in achieving this within this short period of time, that the civilian GTF that were employed and the community protection guards are working tirelessly day and night, 24/7, to rescue any village or anyone that was being kidnapped or is being kidnapped by the bandit. So I assure you, the next few months, mining legally will resume in the states, because federal government has lifted the ban. All the companies that are licensed to come into state will go and mine into their sites freely without fear of anything, because we have achieved security like significantly.
All right.
It was why the federal government lifted the ban.
Just before I let you go, in maybe 30 seconds, government working on compensation for the family of those who were killed in this accidental bombing?
Definitely. We always do that. Wherever there are incidents like this, Governor Dauda Lawal has this empathy in him that he always look at people. The slogan of the government is rescue mission, of course. We know people are suffering where incident, unfortunate circumstances like this occur. The governor usually go to those places himself to check on them and give them a word of assurance, and definitely there are compensation. As I am having this live interview with you, I told you there are state government officials in those villages that went with relief materials, and there will be definitely compensation for the families.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. These are the things we are saying. I don't know if you have watched the other video where the chief of defense staff was interviewed as to why is it not possible for Nigeria to end this insecurity in this country, and he keeps talking about the funding, that these people are being well funded, and the funding is coming internationally. It's not a locally planned funding. But the question we keep asking is, oh, you people receive the list of those funding these people from Nigeria. If we can't get other sources, let's start with the one we have. Has Nigeria prosecute those people who were said to be funding insecurity in Nigeria? Till today, nobody is talking about them, and we say we want to end insecurity. How will others learn? Is it not when you prosecute these ones that are funding? You know, in case you don't know, the UAE once sent a list of those sponsoring insecurity in Nigeria to the Nigerian government. That was under Buhari. Buhari told us they were going to prosecute those people. Until today, nothing. Tinubu has come in, is also sitting on the list. Prosecute them? No. Some of these things are just for political interest, political gain. Tinubu didn't want to go against his people. Now, Buhari didn't want to go against his people. Now, Tinubu is there. Tinubu might not want to go against them because he's coming for second term. So somehow it's all about personal interest against the national interest, and this is not supposed to be. And that's why these people are pulling heavy weight. It was just Boko Haram. We now had ISWAP. Now we have Lokarawa, and these are just the ones we know. Some of them exist as bandits and the rest of them, and they are not even showing any sign of remorse or even surrendering. Like we've even seen the federal government helping them by granting some of them forgiveness, rehabilitation, giving them money, and giving them, reintroducing them into the society. And when they go home, they end up striking somewhere and then running back into the bushes. And we think that all this mediocrity way of doing things is going to help us. Number one thing that Nigeria is supposed to be doing is, if you don't know who is funding, start from the list you already have. Start from the list. Start prosecuting those you know before you get to those you don't know. You don't start fighting those you don't know because you have not gathered all the names. You have not seen all the sources. What happened to the ones you know? The ones you know, why have you not started with them? Why are you not dealing with those people who have been sponsoring all these bad guys? And now, in attempt to crack down on them, the Nigerian military has ended up mistakenly, striking another community. This happened recently in Sokoto. Now it's happening again. The question is, how long are we going to manage this level of mediocrity? Where is the problem coming from? Is it that we don't have the will, the personal will to really end this insecurity? Like we've been told that it's a billion-dollar industry. People are benefiting, people are gaining. So Nigeria should just keep crawling because some people's interests must be protected. That's the question. So guys, these are some of the things that when you see about Nigeria, you pity for a country that God has so much blessed. Somebody said Nigerians are praying for God's intervention. That how else? What kind of blessing again? What more blessing do you want God to give to you that God has not given you? Just check it out. If not that we have the poorest of leaders, if not that we have people who are so self-centered, so selfish, they just know about themselves and what is going to bring them to power again in the next election, what is going to retain their seats for them. As they are working, they are putting in their children. Even if the country is collapsing, it does not concern them. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. And drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.